How long does it take for a chronic lower back pain patient to arrive at physical therapy? 3 months, 6 months? More. So why do we think that that's their problem? They've lived with it for 6 months. They've lived with that problem for 6 months. It's only at the point that the back pain gets so bad, or the back pain gets in the way of something that they want to enjoy, or threatens, which is the big thing, it threatens something that they might have to miss out on further down the line. So if you speak to them about back pain, which we've all been schooled about, it's essentially the blind man that says, I'm blind. There's no real massive motivator to do it. So when we're speaking to people, it's important for you guys to find out the internal problem of whatever that is. So the internal problem there was, it's a beautiful day and I won't see any of it. That was like imagine what that would feel like if that was me. Like you could really kind of get that, and that's why it worked. So when you're speaking to patients, it's important for us to find out in their world what their internal problem is. And never, ever, ever stop speaking about it. If you get a drop-off, if that happens at my clinic and I get a drop-off, I know without a shadow of doubt somebody stopped speaking to them about the internal problem. Somebody started talking about back pain. And as a PT, when you come along and you say, hey, we can fix your pain and we can do this, that and the other, then all of a sudden you work your magic after 3 or 4 sessions and the pain's gone, dissonance builds in their brain as to like, well, I was here for pain and pain's gone now. This guy said he was going to help me get out of pain. Well, I'm out of pain. Why do I need them extra 8 sessions or 6 sessions that he's prescribed? So what the consumer will do is say, hey, do I really need to come? Because, finance is a little bit tight. So then everybody around the world is like, oh, well, they've got no money. Let's blame the government. Let's blame the insurance. Let's blame Obamacare. Let's blame whatever's going on. In reality, the dissonance started to build in their brain as to like, what the hell am I going to give you $600 for when you said it was all about pain and pain's gone? Make sense so far? So every single word that you say to a consumer, to a patient, is being interpreted one way or the other. You got to make damn sure that it's the way that you need it to be interpreted to get the outcome that they want and that you need as an organisation. So externally, what happens is if we run an ad, something in an ad strikes a chord with somebody that causes them to come in as you move into marketing. So the stuff that we're doing with RJ, as we run an ad, there's something in there, there's probably 60 characters, like 20 letters that have made them like think this guy gets me. That causes them to call. And then what has to happen is a seamless process from the receptionist says, hey, okay, yeah, thanks for calling today. What was it that you really called for? And they'll say, well, I've got back pain. It's like, no, it's got to be more important than that. Like, what else, what the hell's going on really? Is there anything you're missing out on? Is there anything you're worried about? Is there anything you're not quite sure about? And then they'll go, oh, well, now that you've asked, and you'll get X, you'll get the answer, you'll get the internal problem. But most PTs, we stop with 3 feet from gold every time. It's like, hey, so what are you here for? Knee pain? Oh, okay, who sent you? Doctor. So what's going on? If I ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 7, 8, yeah. And the whole thing becomes an objective assessment rather than an internal assessment, which really is what we've got to do to get people to stay on schedule. So that's important for you to understand in what's happening. People will always be more motivated to stay on schedule, to pay their bills, to be ecstatically in love with physical therapy if you speak to them about what they're actually there for in the first place. And to put it into to context, what's happened in the PT profession, and this will hopefully help you understand why this is necessary. 10 years ago, what was copay? How much would typical copay would have been 10 years ago? So if you needed 10 sessions, what was the cost? $50. What would be the typical copay now? So $500. Anything under $100 is an impulse decision. You and I and everybody in this room makes an impulse decision on under $100. So if you go into H&M or Zara or Topshop or wherever and you see a dress or a top or a hat for under $100, it's just like, there's the card. As soon as them 3 figures, then you think. And you might do a few laps of the mall, you might go back and come back the next day. But over $100, that's usually the buyer behavior of what starts to go on. So now that PT has got to $500, essentially, what baffles me is that companies still think they can speak to people the same way as it was when it was $50. And the mixed messages is coming from a lot of people that you need to give more value, or you need to add more value. And a lot of people are trying to add more value by better skills, better qualifications, more research, etc., etc. It's super important, incredibly important, but ain't going to make a blind bit of difference at the beginning of a decision-making process.